What's up, guys? Enkiri here. If you're anything like me, you spend hours and hours in the gym every week and still barely have any muscle to speak of. Without any bicep gains to show off, people are going to start to think you're a noob unless you can make them believe that in spite of your diminutive demeanor, you're actually on the same level as those tiny little Chinese weightlifters who squat like 8 times body weight. So today, I'm going to teach you how to trick people into thinking you're strong. In order for people to think you're a strong person, first you have to don the uniform of a strong person.
Compression shorts, knee sleeves, wrist wraps, weightlifting shoes, an unnecessarily large powerlifting belt.
Now you're ready to be seen in public. Go to the gym, but, and this is a big but, make sure it's closing soon. But never, under any circumstances, actually lift any weights, or people will see how weak you actually are. Instead, you should perform a comprehensive, dynamic warm-up that makes it look like you are preparing to lift some huge weights. Strong people have really tight hips that need to be loosened up before they can do anything. So in order to make people think you're strong, you're gonna have to spend some time on the stationary bike. At least 20 minutes if you want people to think you're kinda strong, but more like 30 if you want them to think that you're really strong. As a rule of thumb, the longer you pedal, the stronger people will think you are. Next, you should spend at least another 20 minutes foam rolling. There are a lot of problem areas on a strong person's body, and they all need to be attended to, otherwise they literally won't be able to move. So, if you want people to actually think you're strong, at a minimum, you need to roll out the IT bands, the TFL, psoas, adductors, hamstrings, glute max, glute med, vastus lateralis, vastus medialis, rectus femoris, the gastroc, soleus, tibialis anterior, plantar fascia, pec minor, pec major, thoracic spine, lats, delts, triceps, and biceps. Once you've rolled out all those areas, you should probably go over all of them again just in case someone didn't see you. Since strong people use up all their energy every day at the gym, they tend to be pretty lazy when it comes to everyday life. This means they sit a lot, and all that sitting makes their glutes go to sleep. So before every gym session, they have to wake their glutes up with 5 or 10 different activation exercises, otherwise they won't be strong anymore. Some staples here include glute bridges with no additional load, obviously, sideline clams, bird dogs, and unweighted hip abduction, which is essentially just throwing your leg into the air. The more pointless the exercise looks, the better. And don't forget to follow the rule of thumb. The more activation exercises you do, the stronger people will assume you are. Next, you should move on to movement-based drills. See, before strong people can move their joints through a full range of motion, they have to test them out by moving them through a full range of motion. This way, they can tear a muscle during their warm-up instead of during their workout. This is where things like high knees, straight leg kicks, side shuffles, and karaokes come into play. Now, it's important to never go beyond 10 yards during these movement drills. Pant heavily after every set and rest at least 3 minutes between sets. If you don't do this, people will know you're not really strong because your cardio will be too good. Now it's time to move on to the final part of the warm-up, the movement-specific portion. Since strong people squat a lot, you should head over to the squat rack and start doing sets of about 10 with just the empty bar. It's okay to squat all the way down now because everyone has already seen you warm up for the last hour, so they know you can get to depth no matter how strong you are. Make sure you rest at least 3 minutes in between sets again and get in at least 5 sets with just the empty bar. If anyone asks why you haven't put any weight on yet, just tell them you're going for a big PR today and need to really prime your technique before you start going heavy. By the time you finish up your empty bar warm-up, the gym should only be open for a few more minutes and everyone else will have gone home. All they'll know is that you arrived to the gym decked out in expensive powerlifting gear, warmed up like a champ, and headed over to the squat rack to go for a big PR. At this point, the only thing they'll be thinking on their way home is, damn, I wonder if that monster hit 600 or 650. So now that you've convinced everyone in your gym that you're the Incredible Hulk in disguise, the next step is to convince the rest of the world. This may be the most important step of all, and you only have a few minutes before the gym closes and you get kicked out. Load up every 45-pound plate you can find. Stare deeply into the soul of the barbell and snap a piece of history. Now, plaster that bitch all over social media with an ambiguous motivational quote attached to it that implies you lifted the weight without explicitly saying it. Do this enough times and everyone will forget that they've never actually seen you lift anything. Worst case scenario, the haters start to get a little too vocal and people start doubting you. Just grab yourself a few pairs of fake plates, post up a video, and boom! Problem solved. So what are you waiting for? Get out there and steal some glory.